it's been a time period of a lot of reflection because while everybody is talking about COVID, for me, as a Black woman, racism is always going to be the centerpiece of what my thoughts revolve around. Racism has been around before COVID. We still see it during COVID. And if and when they find a cure for COVID, unfortunately, Black people in America are still going to be dealing with racism.
It's a continuation from the day of slavery. There's a need for freedom.
We're in a society right now that is very dark, and we need to brighten it. We need to lift. We need to work together. We need to have conversations.
We have to be inclusive. We just cannot take one minority and make that minority group and not talk to the others. So we need to unite. We need to unite America. America needs to be united, and that's a goal that all of us as American citizens of this country must strive to work for. Unity, unity, because united we will succeed. Divided will fall one by one.
I thought back so often at this time, when I was a little boy, watching the Selma marches and the dogs and the fire hoses, and it struck me, of course, that when I was I don't know about you, but I was one of those little kids that if we were playing and I got bonked, I was not going to cry if I got bonked. But what could make me cry when I was a little boy would be injustice.
We as a people, all people, have to work together. And it's almost like to see something, say something. We can no longer stand around and just watch people's lives, be snuffed out because of who they are and what they look like. And what we also cannot do is even in our workplaces, we can't sit back and watch systemic racism occur. If you're not a part of the solution, then you're a part of the problem. And I think people need to be called out, and they need to be brave enough to accept when they're called out and make a conscious effort to do something about it.
Having come off of a religious holiday where we began with justice, justice, thou shalt pursue, I sat and said, absolutely, I will, and I'm committed to doing so.
I think the United States was a great experiment. They threw in all kinds of ingredients, and we have to make it work.
It's really beyond time. It's beyond time for us to address these issues, not just from our hearts, but in practical ways to make the world and the society a more equitable and just place for all of us.
It needs to come from the heart, and that it's not just your family, it's your community, your whole community. You have to love them and you have to care for them, but it starts at home.
There's also been a newfound consciousness among white America who now see, because of George Floyd, some of the things that Black America has been complaining about and crying about for years.
Now is the time for us to really move forward with justice for all. We need to engage, we need to open our hearts, we need to be kind, we need to communicate with each other, and every single one of us individually has a role to play. And we must play that role now to move us all forward together to make the world a better place.
You don't need to be an elected official to make changes. You can start with your neighbors. You can start with your street. You can start with becoming part of your neighborhood board or civic association. That's where a lot of power in the grassroots movement is created.
Nobody's 100% right, and nobody's 100% wrong. And I find that we need to set the table for the conversation so that we can see both sides.
What NCCJ does is so critical to this, in bringing people together for proper dialogue, appropriate dialogue, so we can learn from each other, we can grow, and we can make the world better.
And we must ensure that everybody's included, that nobody's left behind, irregardless what group or ethnicity they come from, for them to feel that, yeah, there's somebody out there that is looking out after us and for us, and that there's a voice that we can hear and go to them if we have questions.
I have a profound sense of urgency that it's time to get going. It's time to take that voice. And I'm terribly afraid it'll dissipate, that we'll start to slide backwards. It's really critical that we stay focused and stay on this and don't let that energy slide.
A consistent refusal to accept racist behaviors and what they are when they're brought to one's attention, and to deny what you see. I think until folks are brave enough and willing enough to take a strong stand and make a personal pledge to be a part of a system or a group that wants to eradicate racism, we will continuously have this problem, and we will continuously have this conversation.
There is a need for the conversation on racism. I think that the volume needs to be reduced. And when I say that, don't blast it in somebody's ear, because that irritates right from the beginning. I think they need to have a conversation about racism so that both sides can be heard.
The good thing is there are organizations and people, organizations like NCCJ, that will continue to do the work to educate people and to put it in your face. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. And to continuously challenge you to do better and to be better.
Winning this award has made me reflect on our history and those who have come before me and the work that all of the other honorees have done in their commitment. And the days today that have led up to where we are right now make me realize how essential it is that now is the time for us to make the change, all of us.
Do as the bull in charge, because the bull does not stop fighting until his life is over. And I think that's something that my father instilled in me when he fought for ward representation, and he fought for the equity of veterans here in the city of Springfield. And that transformed a light and a beam and fire inside of me that pushed me to the next level in my life, which is being the next senator of the Hampden district, which I am the first Latino out of Hampden County to be elected to the state senate, but I am the first Boricua to ever be elected in Massachusetts state history.
Beyond my profound gratitude for being even associated in some small way with the other remarkable folks who've been honored tonight, and the litany of folks, they're just great people in the past who've been honored by NCCJ. My deep hope, of course, is that those values, those really important things that we've been praying on, thinking on, meditating on over these months, and holding in our hearts, now find voice and become more manifest in our daily lives in terms of action, in terms of taking real steps to a radical new future.
After so many years of working within the community and trying to ensure the social justice comes to every part of the city and touches everyone within the city, it makes me feel that I have accomplished what I had started to.
I put 35, 40 years in trying to bring services to our community. And it's nice to be acknowledged. And I think that NCCJ does a great job in bringing forth the righteous folks to present and acknowledge.